ಎಂದು ಪಾಠ ನಿಲ್ಲದು. ಹಗಲೇ ಇರಲಿ ಇರುಳೇ ಇರಲಿ ಕಲಿಕೆ ಸಾಗಿಹುದು, ಕಲಿಕೆ ಎಂದು ನಿಲ್ಲದು. ಕನಸನ್ನು ಬಿತ್ತುವ ಕಾಯಕವಿಲ್ಲಿ ನಿತ್ಯ ನಡೆದಿಹುದು.
Hello dear students, I welcome you all for this Varadavahini YouTube channel and also for the second language English third unit the prose Gentleman of RIO en Medio, which we are going to discuss today. Myself Sri Raviraj Itigi, Sri Sheshachara Sadguru High School, Anandwan Agadi, Haveri Taluk. Children, in the 10th standard there is a lesson or a prose in the unit 3, that is Gentleman of RIO en Medio. You know, gentlemen, how are the gentlemen we can guess in our day to day life. So Gentleman of RIO en Medio, before to start this lesson we go towards the introduction of the author who has written this prose. The author was born on 1902 in Mexico. He was a Spanish descendant. He believes in old fashioned Latin American values. He worked as a lawyer and held public office. He wrote about Mexico and southwestern United States. The above story means Gentleman of RIO en Medio is based on an actual legal case. The author died on 1982. The lesson is about nativity, means locality. RIO en Medio is the place in Santa Fe country, New Mexico, USA. Yes, this is about the author Juan Sedillo, who was very popular in Mexico. Yes, next we shall move on to the first paragraph of this lesson, Gentleman of RIO en Medio. It took months of negotiation to come to an understanding with the old man. He was in no hurry. I have divided the paragraph into 3 or 4 categories here, means to make you understand in the initial stages of this lesson. It took months of negotiation. Negotiation means the meeting. You can see the picture here. You can see the picture here. Negotiation. Negotiation means discussion about a particular matter. It took months of negotiation to come to an understanding with the old man. The old man, who was considered as the gentleman. With that old man, the author here discussed and negotiated to come to an understanding, means ಒಂದೇನೋ ವಿಚಾರದ ಸಂಧಿ ಕಾಲಕ್ಕೆ ಬರಲಿಕ್ಕಾಗಿ it took months of negotiation. Why did it take months of negotiation? Because the old man was no hurry. He was in no hurry. ಅವನಿಗೆ ಅವಸರ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ to make a negotiation with the author. What he had the most was time. He lived up in RIO en Medio, where his people had been for hundreds of years. Gentleman of RIO en Medio, he has the most was the time. Why he was no hurry? Because he has the time. He was having the most of his time. So he took months of negotiation, months to negotiate with the author. He lived up in RIO en Medio, where his people had been of hundreds of years. His people were there in RIO en Medio for hundreds of years. ಅಂದರೆ ನೂರಾರು ಕಾಲಗಳಿಂದ ಬದುಕಂತ ಬಂದಂಥವ್ರು ಅದೇ ಪ್ಲೇಸಲ್ಲಿ. He tilled the same land that they had tilled. Tilling, most of our students are from rural areas, and also their parents are farmers, agriculturists. So you come across these type of words. Tilling means ಉಳೋದು, ಹೊಲವನ್ನು ಉಳೋದು. He tilled the same land they had tilled. The same land he has also tilled, which his ancestors or which his descendants tilled. His house was small. How was his house? His house was small and wretched. You come across a wretched word, but quaint, another word which is the new words for you people. We will come across the new words in the next page. His house was small and wretched and but quaint. It is quaint. The little creek ran through his land. The little creek was running through his land. His orchard was gnarled and beautiful. You can imagine by seeing the picture in the next page. How was his land? How was his house? See, once more you come across how was his house. His house was so small, wretched, but quaint. The little creek ran through his land. You can imagine. Now you can imagine. Then we shall see the picture in the next page. His orchard was gnarled and beautiful. ಭಾಳ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಹೆಂಗಿತ್ತು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ you can imagine now. You can see the picture in the next page. Can we see? Okay, we shall move to the next page. See, wretched but quaint house. Wretched but quaint house means unpleasant to look at. ನೋಡಕ್ಕೆ ಸರಿ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ನಮ್ಮ ಹೊಲಗಳ ಮನೆಗಳಿರ್ತಾವೆ, ಚಪ್ರದ ಮನೆಗಳು ಹಾಕಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ ಮನೆಗಳಿರ್ತಾವೆ. ಆ ಹೊಲದ ಮನೆ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾವೆ, ಚಪ್ರ ಹಾಕೊಂಡು, ಕರೆಂಟಿನ ಮನೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ. ಹಂಗೆ that was a wretched but quaint house, unpleasant, unusual and attractive in old fashioned way. They are very attractive. The houses which are built in the fields, they are very attractive, as compared to the house in the villages or cities. The houses in the fields are so attractive. They are so attractive because they are lonely in the land, they are lonely in the fields, so they attract us. Though they were unpleasant, unusual, there are no any kitchens, there are no any hall, rooms, bedrooms, kitchen, like that, passages, we can't find those. But though it was unusual, unpleasant, they are attractive. Like that, the old man's house was also there in RIO EN MEDIO. I think you are getting the meanings of the words wretched but quaint. Next we shall move to the next word. You come across creek there. In the first paragraph, there was a creek running in the area of RIO EN MEDIO's, the gentleman of RIO EN MEDIO's house. Creek, how are the creeks? You can see the picture there. You can see how it is, how nice it is. You can imagine. If you go through the western Ghats, you come across these type of creeks, small creeks. They are very beautiful, they are very attractive. Like that, his house was there in between the creeks. Creek means a small narrow stream. Next we shall move to another new word for you, which you have come across in the first paragraph. That is gnarled and beautiful orchard. Gnarled and beautiful orchard means, look at this picture. There I have given the gnarled and beautiful orchard in the picture, above the picture there, which means twisted hard lumps and a land of fruit yielding trees. You can imagine by seeing the picture there, how the twisted lumps are there and a land of fruit yielding trees. means such a type of house of was there in Rio en Medio, where a gentleman was spending his life. I think you are going to understand. You have been understood the first paragraph of this lesson. Next, we shall move on to the second paragraph. See, you can see that paragraph in your textbook also, which is there in this board. The day of the sale, he came into the office. His coat was old, green and faded. You can remember this by imagination. Imagine you are there in the office. The day of sale, he came into the office. After months of negotiation, the old man, old man came to the office. How he came into the office? His coat was old. His coat was old. He was wearing an old coat that was green coat that was faded. I thought, I means here the author. He means gentleman of Rio en Medio. As if I means the author. I thought of Senator Carton by seeing that the personality of gentleman, the prose writer Sedelo thought of Senator Carton. Who was Senator Carton? You can see in the next page where I am giving you the meanings of the words. The author thought of Senator Carton, who had been such a power with his people up there in the mountain. That was the mountain area. That Senator Carton, whom the author thought or remembered, who had been such a power, he was having the power with those people up there in the mountains. Perhaps it was one of his old Prince Alberts. About what he is telling? About what he is telling about old Prince Albert? That is about court, which the author has referred in the first subparagraph. Perhaps it was one of his old Prince Alberts. He wore gloves. That coat was old, green, faded, and along with he was wearing the gloves. He was wearing the gloves. He wore gloves. They were old and torn. They were old. Already they were old and torn. Torn kittakir. Hardur. Old and torn, and his fingertips showed through them. If the gloves are torn, you can see the fingertips. Tip means the fingertips showed through them. He carried a cane. Cane itkonda. Cane means kolu. Kattige. Old men are carrying that cane. He carried a cane, but it was only a skeleton of worn out umbrella. That cane, you can see that picture in the textbook also. Before you come across the fourth paragraph, there you can see the old man holding the worn out umbrella as a cane. It's so funny. And also we can imagine how was the old man, how simple he might be. He was having a large land, though he was wearing faded coats, green coat that was old, and also he was wearing the gloves which were torn. Through that, his fingertips are visible to the people who are watching him. He carried a cane. It was only the skeleton. You know, skeleton means what do you mean by skeleton? Means Elbin Handra skeleton. It was the worn out. It was only the skeleton of worn out umbrella. ಸ್ಕೆಲ್ಟನ್ ನೀವು ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲೆಬೆಲೆ ಇರ್ತಾವೆ ಛತ್ರಿಗೆ ಅಂತ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡೋದು ಬೇಡ. ಅಂಬ್ರೆಲ್ಲ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಕಡ್ಡಿ ಇರ್ತತಿ, ಅಲ್ಲ ಕಡ್ಡಿ ಕಿತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿರ್ತತಿ. ಅಂತ ಅಂಬ್ರೆಲ್ಲನ ಅವನು ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೆ. ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ ದ ಪಿಕ್ಚರ್ ದೇರ್ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ದೇರ್ ಹಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಗಿವನ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯುವರ್ ಕನ್ವೀನಿಯನ್ಸ್. Behind him walked one of his innumerable kin, a dark young man with eyes like a gazelle. He was followed by a young boy. Who was that young boy? That boy was an innumerable kin, a dark young man whose eyes like gazelle. ಹೊಳಪಿನಿಂದ ಕೂಡಿದ್ದು. Okay, we shall see the new words with pictures in the next page. Okay, move on. See, Senator Carton, the word has come in the second paragraph. That means Senator Carton means Thomas Benton Carton, a senator of New Mexico, who has the power up above the people of RIO en medio. Senator Carton. When the author remembered about Senator Carton, the Senator Carton is nothing but Thomas Benton Carton, a senator from New Mexico. Innumerable kin you come across. Innumerable kin. Asankyata. Innumerable means asankyata. Kin means family members. Means he was having a large family. That old man, the gentleman, was having a large family. By seeing this word kin, you can imagine his family was a huge family. And gazelle eyes. Gazelle eyes we come across with the animal deer. Deer is having gazelle eyes. Gazelle means large beautiful eyes. I have given you. Next, you come across the picture there. The picture refers Prince Albert's. When you are reading the second paragraph, you may think that Prince Albert means he might be a person. No. It means long double-breasted coat. It is a long double-breasted coat. You can see the picture there. Front and back views are given of that coat. A person is wearing that coat, and also you can see it is looking like a old man, which person is coming across in this lesson. Like this, the old man was. He was wearing green old faded coat, and also wearing the gloves which were torn. Through that, fingertips are shown. And along with, he was having the stick, the cane. The cane was a funny thing, that is the skeleton of worn out umbrella. That cane was. And also behind him a boy was followed. He was an innumerable kin of Don Anselmo. Don Anselmo, I have come across the word. Gentleman is nothing but Don Anselmo. The word will come, the name will come in the future paragraphs. Yes, like this the new words will come across in the second paragraph. Now we shall move on to the third. Don't concentrate on the picture there. Just concentrate on the paragraph there, which was above. We will see this afterwards. That is given for the new word meaning. Okay. In the third paragraph, the old man bowed all of his in the room. Then he removed his hat and gloves slowly and carefully. Chaplin once did that in a picture in a bank. He was the janitor. Then he handed his things to the boy who stood obediently behind the old man's chair. See, old man entered into the office where the author was there, and along with some people were there. Who were they? We will discuss about in the next paragraph. But when the man entered, the old man, the gentleman of RIO in medio, when he entered, what he did? ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ದ? He bowed. Bow means ಬಾಗು ಬಗ್ಗು. ಬೋ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಬಿಲ್ಲು ಅಂತ ಹಾಕತಿ. ಬಾಗಿರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಲ್ ಅಂತಾರ, ಮತ್ತು ಬಿಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಆ್ಯರೋ ಅಂತಾರ. ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ಬೇಕು. ಮತ್ತು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬೋ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿಲ್ ಹಿಡ್ಕಂಡ ಅನ್ನಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಬೋ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಬಾಗಿದ. The old man bowed, he bent. He bent. He bowed to all of us in the room. That was in the office room of the author. He bowed to give respect who are sitting already there in the office. Then he removed his gloves. Gloves bichida. How he did it? Very slowly and carefully. Why? Because they were old and torn. If we removed very fast, they might have torn that much that we can't use in the future. So he removed them slowly and carefully. Chaplin once did that in a picture. You might have seen the films of Charlie Chaplin, or else clippings of Charlie Chaplin in YouTube's, in other social medias. Charlie Chaplin, you can see the picture there, how he is acting. Watch it. So funny. He was a funny person. He can make people to laugh so much that they can't control it. They can't control it. Like that his acting was. Though he was not talking, his actions makes us to laugh. That much of ability he has in acting. That Chaplin, when that old man entered and removed those clothes, the author remembered of Chaplin. Chaplin once did that in a picture in a bank. He was a janitor. Then he handed his things to the boy who stood obediently behind the old man's chair. Who was that old boy? That boy was innumerable kin of the old man. When he entered, he bowed to the people who are there in the office room and removed his gloves. Then he handed over all the things which he was handling in his hand to the boy who was standing behind the chair of that old man. Next, we shall move to the next slide. I think you have understood the third paragraph. After third paragraph in the textbook, you are having check your understanding and share your responses. If you understood this lesson for these three paragraphs, you can easily answer those. How many questions? 10 questions which are giving there in share your responses. You do the work in your home. Next, the fourth paragraph. I shall read it. Look at here, and you can refer your textbooks also. There was a great deal of conversation about Rain and his family. He was very proud of his large family. Finally, we got down to business. Yes, he would sell as he had agreed for $1,200 in cash. We would buy and the money was ready. Don Anselmo, I said to him in Spanish, we have made a discovery. You remember that we sent that surveyor, that engineer up there to survey your land so as to make the deed. Well, we find that you own more than 8 acres. He tells us that your land extends across the river and that you own almost twice as much as you thought. He did not know that. And now, Don Anselmo, I added, these Americans are Bino Genta. The word is Spanish word. Bino Genta some people says, Bino Genta some people says, okay, as your convenience you can pronounce it. They are good people and they are willing to pay you for additional land as well. At the same rate per acre, so that instead of $1,200 you will get almost twice as much, and the money is here for you. See, what it make you understand that there was a great deal of conversation when he entered into the office. It was a casual talk. Wherever you go, you can start with some casual talks. Here also the casual talks are took about rain and family. The people who were gathered in the office room, they talked about family and rain of that area. After that, he was very proud of his large family. That he means gentleman. That gentleman was very proud of his large family. He was having a huge family, large family. He was proud of it. He didn't blame anyone. He was proud of it. Finally, after all these casual conversation, finally they got, we means they means who are sitting in the office room, got down to the business. Why they have come for? For that reason they are started their business. They came for the business. They came to buy a land. Some people came to buy a land, and the old man or gentleman came to sell his land. That business was started. Yes, he would sell as he had agreed. Yes, he would sell. The gentleman would sell it as he has agreed for $1,200. Only for $1,200 he was settled to sell his land to the persons who are buying. Who were buying, we come across in the next. That too in cash. That amount $1,200 should have been given in dollars, in cash. Sorry. We would buy. We means the buyers. We would buy, and the money was ready. They came with the money. They offered the money to the old man and the author, who was the mediator here. The author was doing the mediator job here. He was ready to sell it. He was ready to do it, and the people are ready to give it. Give it means the money. Don Anselmo, I said to him in Spanish. In Spanish, he said. That sentences are translated here into English. We have made a discovery. Then the author said, we means here the buyers and the author, he said. Along with him, he said, we have made a discovery. You remember that we sent that surveyor. A surveyor I have sent to your land. Before we purchase a land, we are sending some people to look at the land, or else that house, whatever we are buying, we are sending them there, sending some people there to survey it. Survey ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಕಳಿಸಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಹಂಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ, ಯು ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್, ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಯು ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್, ನೀ ಹಿಂಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ದಂಗೆ, ನಿಮಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ದಂಗೆ, ಐ ಸೆಂಟ್ ಸಮ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಟು ಸರ್ವೆ ದೇರ್, that the engineer I sent there, survey engineer I sent there. They surveyed, what they surveyed? They to survey your land as to make the deed. To make the deed, I sent there a survey engineer. What they have find it? What they have find there? ಏನು ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿದ್ರು? What they have found? They found, what they found? You own more than 8 acres of land. When they went there, they surveyed the land and they come across you have more than 8 acres of land. Till now what you have said, 8 acres of land I have, I will sell you for $1,200, that too in cash. But when they surveyed, they come across more than 8 acres. 8 ಎಕರೆಗಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ. ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಈಗಿನ ಕಾಲದಾಗ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಹೇಳೋದೊಂದು ಮಾರೋದೊಂದು. ಹೇಳೋದು 8 ಎಕರೆ ಇದ್ದಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ 7 ಎಕರೆ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಹಂಗೆ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಅಂಥದ್ರಾಗ ಇವ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಇರ್ತಾನ, ಹಿ ವಾಸ್ ಸೊ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಹಿ ವಾಸ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಜೆಂಟಲ್ಮನ್. ವಾಟ್ ಹಿ ಸೈಡ್, ಮೈ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಈಸ್ 8 acres, he said. When the surveyor went there, that was more than 8 acres. So author said, he means the engineer finds that you own more than 8 acres of land. He tells us, ನಮ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. Who tells us? The engineer, survey engineer, he tells us that your land extends across the river. River extend ಮಾಡೈತಿ. Your land is extends across the river, and that you own almost twice as much as you thought. Twice as much as you thought. More than 8 acres ಅಂದದ್ದು ಹೋಗ್ತು, ಈಗ ಅದು that was twice of it, 8 into 2. But the old man has told them that it was 8 acres, 8 ಎಕರೆ ಅಷ್ಟ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. But he was selling the total land, double of it. 8, what he has told 8 acres, double of it he was selling there. Then also he said that he was selling 8 acres of land. So the surveyor told us it was almost twice as much as you thought. He did not know that. And now Don Anselmo added it. ಅವಂಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲರಿ ಅದು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನೋಡ್ರಿಲ್ಲೇ ಮುಂದೆ ಡಾನ್ ಅನ್ಸಲ್ಮೋ ಅವರೇ ಅಂತಂದ. ಡಾನ್ ಅನ್ಸಲ್ಮೋ, ದ ವರ್ಡ್ which I introduced you in the 3rd paragraph, now it has come here. It is Don Anselmo itself. Don Anselmo is gentleman of RIO en medio, the old man. All the 3 words are referring to the same person. Don Anselmo, I added, these Americans are Binogenta. Binogenta means good people. That was stored in the next line also. They are good people. Binogenta means good people. These Americans who are buying your land, these are good people. They are willing to pay you. They are willing to pay you additional land as well. They are willing to give you or pay you the additional amount for additional land. You have told us 8 acres of land for $1,200. Now it has twice of it, so they are willing to give you the additional amount of that for that additional land. So they are also Americans are also considered as the good people here. The old man is considered as the gentleman here. Why he was considered as a gentleman? We come across in the next paragraphs. Why he was considered as a gentleman? We come across in the next paragraphs. See here what happened. The Americans are Binogenta, they are good people. Author said they are willing to pay you the additional land. They are willing to pay you for additional land as well at the same rate per acre. Per acre ಎಷ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ಕೊಂಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅದೇ ದುಡ್ಡನ್ನು ಅದೇ ರೇಟಲ್ಲೇ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ರಿವರ್ ಇದ್ರೂ ಸಹಿತ ಅವ್ರು ಕೊಡಕ್ಕೆ ರೆಡಿ ಅದಾರ. They are willing to give you. So that instead of $1,200 you will get almost twice of it. ಮತ್ತು twice land ಐತೆ twice amount ಕೊಡಕ್ಕೆ ರೆಡಿ ಅದಾರ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ. Americans, they are good people. Even they brought the amount, so the author offered the old man, take it, take the amount which they have brought for you for your additional land. He said. See, in this paragraph, what was the business about? How much acres of land the gentleman was selling, and who was surveyed it, what the survey's result. The survey results in that the old man was having twice of what he was going to sell, and even the Americans are good people. They are willing to pay the old man the twice of the amount. For that additional amount, even they have bought the cash also to give. Such was the situation we can see in the fourth paragraph. Now we shall move on to the fifth paragraph. Now we shall move on to the new words which are highlighted in here: dollar, dawn, deed, binogenta. We can come across in the next paragraph. See, watch out. Dollar, the amount which is used in European countries. Dollar, how we are using rupees in our in our nation India, like that in European country they are using dollars. Don means respected word in Spanish, which are how we are using in English as sir. We are using the word sir, but in Spanish that is don. Don't consider don means rowdy. Don means the respectful word, that is sir, which we are referring in English. Deed, the legal document. Deed ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂತ ಅಂತಾರೆ, agreement ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು, that is agreement, deed. Binogenta means good people. Okay, yes. I think you have understood the fourth paragraph also with the new words. Next we shall move on to the fifth paragraph. The old man hung his head for a moment in thought. Then he stood up and stared at me. Friend, he said, I don't like to have you speak to me in that manner. I kept still and let him have his say. I know these Americans are good people, and that is why I have agreed to sell to them, but I don't care to be insulted. I have agreed to sell my house and land for $1,200, and that is the price. The old man, ಅದಕ್ಕಂತ ಹಳೆ ಮಂದಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೆದರಿಕೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ. ವ್ಯವಹಾರ ಕುಂತ ಹಳೆ ಮಂದಿ ಇರ್ತಿರಂದ್ರೆ ವ್ಯವಹಾರ ಭಾಳ ಬಿಗಿ ಇರ್ತತಿ. ಅವ್ರು ಭಾರಿ ಗಡಿಸಿರ್ತಾವೆ, ಧ್ವನಿಗಳು ಗಡಿಸಿರ್ತಾವೆ, ಮನಸ್ಸುಗಳು ಗಡಿಸಿರ್ತಾವೆ, ಜೊತೆಗೆ ದೃಢ ನಿಶ್ಚಯವನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹಂಗೆ ಸಣ್ಣ ವಯಸ್ಸಿನದ್ದಂಗೆ ಆ ಕಡೆ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಚಂಚಲ ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಇರೋಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಏನಾಯ್ತು ಫೋರ್ತ್ ಪ್ಯಾರಾಗ್ರಾಫ್ನಾಗ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿದ್ವಿ. ದಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಅ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್. ದೇರ್ ಹಿ ಸೈಡ್, who said? The author said, you are having more than 8 acres of land, so that these Americans are good people. They are scaled it through engineer, and they are willing to give you the additional amount for your additional land, and they have even bought the amount for you ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಆಫರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟ. ಒಪ್ಪಿಗೆ ಬಿಡ್ತಾನ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಯೋಚನೆ. that the old man will agree for that too very happily. ಸಂತೋಷ ಒಪ್ಪಿಗೆ ಬಿಡ್ತಾನ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಆಥರ್ ಥಾಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು. ಮುಂದೆ ಏನಾಯ್ತು ನೋಡೋಣ. You can see in the fifth paragraph. The old man hung verb forms ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಭಾಳಷ್ಟು ಜ್ಞಾನ ಬೇಕು, because they are helpful in grammar section. The old man hung his head for a moment in thought. ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ ಹಿಡ್ಕಂತ ತಲೆ ಹಿಡ್ಕಂತಾನ. He thought, hung his head. ಇವ ಹಿಂಗನ್ನಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಆಕಾಶ ನೋಡ್ತಿರ್ತೇವೆ, ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಕೆಳಗೆ ನೋಡ್ತಿರ್ತೀವಿ, ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾರೆ. ಹಂಗೆ ದ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ಹಂಗ್ ಹಿಸ್ ಹೆಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಎ ಮೂಮೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ಥಾಟ್, ವಿಚಾರದಲ್ಲಿ. ಇವ ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ, ಹಿಂಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ನ, ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್ ಹಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್. ಓ what shall I tell him, how shall I react him, he thought. Then he stood up, ಎದ್ದು ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಂಡ. Then he stood up, stand up, stood up, stood up ಅಂತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಅಪ್ ಅಂತಿರ್ತಲ್ಲ, stood up, past form of stand. He stood up and stared at me. He stared at me. ಕಣ್ಣು ಅಗಲಿಸಿ ನೋಡೋದು. He stared at me. Me means here author. The old man stared at the author and said, friend. ಆ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ ಕೂಡ ಅರ್ಧ ಹೆದರ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದ ಆಥರ್. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ಹಂಗಿದ್ದವ. ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್, ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ like to have you speak to me in this manner. I don't like it. How you are talking to me, that manner I don't like it from you. I don't expect it from you, he said. He kept still. Sorry, I kept. He means here the author kept still. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡವ. ಸ್ಟಿಲ್, ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ಅಂತ, ನಿಂತ್ಕೊ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಅಂತಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಹಂಗೆ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಂತ್ಕೊ ಇದ್ದಲೇ ಇರೋದು, ಸ್ಟಿಲ್. ಹಿ ಕೆಪ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್. ಲೆಟ್ ಹಿಮ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಸೇ, ಐ ನೋ ದೀಸ್ ಅಮೇರಿಕನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಗುಡ್ ಪೀಪಲ್. ಐ ನೋ that I know means Don and Samo saying it, that I know these Americans are good people and that is why, and that's why ಅಂತಾನೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. And that's why I have agreed to sell to them. Otherwise, I don't sell to anybody. I am going to sell the good people itself. As if they are good people, I am also thinking of a good people to sell it. So, I have agreed to sell the land for them. But I don't care to be insulted. But good people maratana ಒಪ್ಪಿಕೊಂಡ್ರು. But I don't want, I don't care to be insulted myself. ನಾನು ಅಸಹ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. Because I have made an agreement. I have made an agreement that I am going to sell you the land, my land of 8 acres to you people for $1,200. So I have abide for this. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಅಬೈಡ್ ಆಗೇನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. I have agreed to sell my house, my land for $1,200. ನಾನು ಹೇಳೇನು, ನಂದು ಜಾಗ ನೋಡಪ್ಪ ಇಷ್ಟು, ಇದು ಹೌಸು, ಇದು ಲ್ಯಾಂಡು, that too for $1,200. That is the price. So you must abide for this also. ನೀನು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಪ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ಬೇಕು. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ರೊಕ್ಕ ಕೊಡ್ತಾನೆ ತಗೋ ಅಂಥೇಳಿ ಇನ್ಸಲ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಡ. ಡೋಂಟ್ ಮೇಕ್ ಮೀ ಇನ್ಸಲ್ಟ್ ಅದಕ್ಕಂತಾರೆ ಹಿರಿಯರು. ನಂದು ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಒಂದ ಮಾತ, ನಾ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಮಾತಿಗೆ ಬೆಲೆ ಕೊಡಂಗೆ, ಒಮ್ಮೆ ಮಾತಾಡೋದು ನಾನು, ಒಂದ ಮಾತ ನಂದು ಅಂತಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಹಂಗೆ ಹಿಯರ್ ದ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ಸೆಡ್, ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಮೇಡ್ ಅನ್ ಅಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ವಿತ್ ಯು that I am going to sell you my house and land for $200. That is the amount. I don't want to take any penny of it, any penny after it. ಒಂದು ಪೆನ್ನಿನೂ ತಗೋಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, he said. Or forms hung, stand, stood. Like this, these verb forms are very helpful in voices and speeches. ಬಹಳ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್, ಇವುಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಇರಬೇಕು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ವಿಷಯ, I think you have understood the 5th paragraph. Next we shall move on to the next things. Next slide, that is 6th paragraph. I agreed with him, but it was useless. Finally, he signed the deed and took the money, but refused to take more than the amount agreed upon. Then he shook hands all around, put on his ragged clothes, took his stick and walked out with the boy behind him. See, I agreed means the author agreed. I means author. He is the speaker here. Our speaker, author is speaker. ಪಾಠ ಜೆಂಟ್ಲ್ಮನ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಆರ್ ಸ್ಪೀಕರ್ ಯಾರು? ಆಥರ್ ಜುವಾನ್ ಎ ಸೆಡಿಲ್ಲೋ. he is the author, he is the speaker here. Argued with him, he argued with him. Author argued with the gentleman. ಜೆಂಟ್ಲ್ಮನ್ ಜೊತೆ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡೇ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. But it was useless. Finally he signed the deed and took the money. Finally he signed the deed sign ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ and took the money, but refused to take, ನೋಡ್ರಿ this is very important, but refused to take more than the amount agreed upon. He didn't take more than $100. Then he shook hands all around. He shook hands all around ಇದ್ದರ ಜೊತೆಗೆಲ್ಲ who were there in the office. He shook hands with all those people. Put on his ragged clothes once more. He put on his ragged clothes slowly. How he was removed, like that he was weared them. Took his stick, that skeleton of worn-out umbrella, and walked out of the office with the boy behind him. That boy, who was that boy? The innumerable kin of gentlemen. Okay, that boy was followed him. In this paragraph, we come across the affix, that is prefix and suffix. One suffix is there, that is useless. I'll quote on the first sentence useless, and the prefix is also there, that is numerable, innumerable. We have to remember numerable, innumerable, and verb form is also there, that is shake, shook, shaken. Shaking of hands, that is the past form of shook, that the past participle form is shaken. Shake, shook, shaken. Like that, sixth paragraph, the agreement was closed for $1,200 itself, and the old man took $1,200 and shook hands in the office room, and he went away with the boy behind him. This is all about we have discussed in this class. We will discuss in the next period about the other paragraphs of this lesson 7 to 12. Okay, thank you one and all. Thank you very much.